Welcome in again, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the R&D Sports Report. My name is Dishmond, and I am joined on this sunny day with my co-host, as always, before he leaves me again next week, Rylee. Rylee, how you doing this afternoon?
Doing pretty good, man.
Now, notice, I said this afternoon because we're able to actually do this in the afternoon for once.
Surprisingly.
So, probably put us in a better mood, and I won't be half asleep when we do this either. So,
giggity. Let's do this.
All right, so surprisingly, there's quite a bit to talk about, even though kind of heading into the unofficial kind of first week of summer.
Yes, senor.
Right? A lot of sports have ended. Obviously, we have the World Cup starting up, but the NBA Finals ended. The Stanley Cup Finals, they ended with the Capitals winning. And congratulations to them, and it looked like one heck of a party for them.
Yes, it did.
It's funny, real quick there on the Capitals. You know, when you see stuff or somebody have success, I don't know if you ever noticed this, but ESPN always runs those old commercials where like the person was doing something.
Yeah,
and they ran that old one with Alexander Ovechkin. Where he's like the Russian spy or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that one?
Yeah.
Because it popped on the other day. I was like, why is this on? I was like, because they won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
So, that's why it's on. But can't really say I watched a whole lot of it. I did tune in. I was kind of in and out with the hockey. Hockey is one of those things like I try to get into, and I understand a little bit of it.
Yeah.
It's almost one of those things I can't sit and watch.
You know what's jacked up is I feel like the video games are more fun than the actual thing. But then again, it's not like as violent as it used to be. Because back then they were trying to kill each other. But now it's just more about scoring than anything.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, I do find a lot of fun in the games.
Yes.
You and I have even played a few of them, and probably that's also what helps me honestly kind of understand the hockey rules, and that is going by the game.
And people say we don't get educated by video games.
See, there you go. They always try to blame them for bad things.
Yeah, no kidding.
But it's kind of one of those things. Hockey is, for me, somewhat like soccer is the same for me. I watch soccer every now and then. Now, I would rather go to a soccer match.
Yeah.
Only because it's more fun to be there in person. It's one of those sports that it's better in person because the atmosphere.
Well, and I mean, that's the same with, like, baseball as well. Baseball's one of those sports that if you watch it on TV, yeah, it's cool and all, but, you got the cameraman looking at the ball. You can't find it because it's in the air because it's white, so you can't find it. So you're like, oh, he's out. Huh. Well, time to go eat.
and see, the thing for me with baseball on TV that you bring that up is there's so many commercials. Like, in between innings, there's a commercial, and you've watched TV with me. Like, the one thing I can't stand is watching commercials. That's why I almost DVR everything.
Oh, yeah.
And hardly watch anything live unless it's, like a basketball game or something like that. Like, any TV shows, nope. Like,
no.
I just can't stand the commercials.
Yeah. It's frustrating, dude. I'm right there with you. I can't stand commercials.
Well, in which you would kind of think it maybe would make me like hockey more. It's a fast-paced game. It doesn't have a lot of commercials, but also you have those big breaks in between the periods. But as I was saying, it's much like soccer. Like, I'll watch soccer when it comes to like the World Cup if the U.S. were actually in it,
right?
Which they're not,
sadly. Which the Stanley Cup is it Stanley? No, it's a World Cup. Oh my gosh, I get them mixed up. I don't know why, but either way, should be exciting. I'm gonna try to watch some soccer. I don't know.
Well,
Don't know when, but
see, for me, like I agree. Like I'll try to watch some of the World Cup. I won't watch as much because the U.S. isn't in the World Cup. Because it's just one of those things. As my dog makes an appearance here, barking at something random.
Special guest star.
Yes, exactly. But it's probably the mailman, honestly.
That nabbit mailman.
But anyways, back. It's something with, because it's the same thing in the Olympics, right? It's something with like that national pride.
Yeah.
You sit there and it's like, go USA, and you're so amped up for it because that's your country. You're supporting them.
Right.
I don't have a soccer team, so I don't get amped up to watch a soccer game.
Yeah, no kidding.
When the LA Galaxy, when they're on, I'm not like hooping and hollering in the living room.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm just not that invested into it. But when, for some reason, it comes to the World Cup, I'm into it hardcore.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Which also leads us into some news that broke today that in 2026 the World Cup will be hosted in North America between the three countries, the USA, Mexico, and Canada. So that was voted earlier this morning when we're recording here. It was reported that they would get the bid, and now it's come out that it's going to be 60 games in the U.S., 10 games in Canada, 10 games in Mexico.
Wow, so we got the bigger majority.
Well, yeah, and that's probably because we have more venues that are already established. And
yeah,
I think that's honestly some of the stuff I read probably what helped I think they were called the United, it was like the United delegation or something like that. I don't know.
America.
But it was, the three of them were united together.
Yeah.
And trying to gain this, and I think that's probably what helped a little bit is, facilities didn't have to be built. Brazil had to build facilities for the World Cup. And, it's one of those things that Brazil had to build those, and other countries also have had to build. But I believe this is I saw where it's the first time since 2002 that two nations or two or more had hosted together, and this is the first time in World Cup history that three nations have hosted together.
Maybe the USA will actually be in it this time. Maybe.
Well,
because it is our country.
Well, yeah, no kidding. It would be bad. But also, this one, I don't know if you happen to see this or not, that this is apparently this will mark the first tournament that will have 48 teams in it.
No, I did not hear that.
Now, I couldn't tell you for the life of me how many teams are in the World Cup right now. But apparently they're expanding the field to 48. So maybe with that expansion, we would have a better chance of getting in.
I figured there would be more than 48 already. But maybe I just suck at geography. I don't really know. But either way, I'm still going to try to watch the World Cup, and I'm hoping that it's exciting. My family doesn't really like soccer, so I got to figure out how to slide into the living room and watch it by myself. But should be exciting. You
can just come over with me on one of my off days, and we'll watch it together.
Oh, dude, I'm down.
It would be hilarious is if we just like turned our mics on and tried watching soccer and interpreting whatever was going on.
I think the funny part would be trying to pronounce all their names. That'd be the bet.
It probably that would be a very interesting time to say the least.
Oh man.
But do you have I know I saw earlier where some issues with this 2026 World Cup might be more of logistical issues, as in, having to take flights here and there. Maybe playing in Baltimore one day and then Mexico City a couple days later. And when I even saw that might have been an issue for them even trying to get this in the first place, this World Cup. But do you think that will have any effect on the teams, or do you think they'll try to work it in a logistical sense that it's not like overbearing on the teams? Like if they play out in California, are they then going to stay kind of there in Mexico City and maybe go up to Vancouver, like try to stay on that West Coast?
I mean they might. I can't even get a date with my friends to go to the movies, so I'm surprised that 3 countries decided to get together and be like, hey, this is what we're going to do. So props to them. Second, I don't really think it has an effect on them. The only thing I would feel they would be affected by was sleep. That would be the only thing.
It's sleep, jet lag, right?
Right.
Those could be the issues. Obviously, we're a little premature in this because we literally found out that they got the thing, the World Cup today, and more will come out. It is one of those things because normally I think the host nation does get an automatic bid. So who gets the automatic bid here?
USA. I don't know.
And I would imagine it might end up being the USA because we're hosting more matches.
No.
Now Mexico doesn't really need the automatic bid because they can qualify on their own.
Right.
The only other one that might need it is Canada, which I want to say it was like 1980 or something, somewhere along there, 80, 85, since the last time Canada was in the World Cup.
Okay. Do they I'm probably going to sound real stupid here, but do they bid on it, throw money in to host it? Do they all just get together and whoever gives the most money gets more matches? Or
no, the way the bid process is actually you may have to pay. I think you do have to pay some money to submit your idea. But what you basically say is, here is our proposition for how we would host the game, right? How we would host the World Cup. Same thing they do with the Olympics. We the
people.
No, we the country of France, right? For instance. We are submitting our names to host the 2030 or whatever. I don't know when the World Cup. I think it's every 4 years. Anyway, so the 2030 World Cup. Well, it wouldn't be 4 years, I guess. No, it would be. So the 2030 World Cup, and if we get the host, this is our, this is how we will. This is when we'll start building facilities. If we need to build facilities, this is what they'll look like. This is where they'll be. You basically have to lay out your presentation and give it to them. You're pitching them, right? But they call it a bid.
Gotcha. Okay, so makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, you're basically trying to get people to vote for your bid to host.
Gotcha. By the way, I will just throw this in as a little baby fact. Like we were talking about hockey, I wouldn't know nothing about soccer if it wasn't for the FIFA games. I'm just saying. We get on the same team. I mean, we sort of destroy with me on your team. It's kind of bad, but I still wouldn't know as much if it wasn't for the video games.
Look,
I'm not that young, but come on now.
Well, I know, but the thing with soccer, the thing I knew what an offsides was, but it's one of those
until I start playing.
But until you start kind of playing those FIFA games, it's oh yeah, that's what it actually is when you're ahead of the back defender before the ball is kicking, it's it connects.
Makes sense.
Going back to the hockey. Oh, it connects what's an offside, and my apologies if anybody is an avid soccer fan or an
Right,
avid
they're probably cringing at this right now.
hockey fan, my apologies. It's just not quite our forte.
Yeah, no kidding. I think
You
it's,
know,
go ahead.
well, I was going to say where we live, right, it's a basketball country.
Yeah, no kidding.
But at the same time, football's then kind of that secondary with baseball. So, like, hockey's not that popular.
No. Canada, yeah, because they're cold,
Right.
But nope, not in the USA. No, we are a basketball, baseball,
Well, like,
football
for
country.
hockey is popular in certain segments of the country. Like,
I mean, like Florida, like they love the Tampa Bay Lightning. Like they are outrageous about it.
which is kind of surprising to me.
Right, because
But maybe it's
freaking
just
hot down
because
there.
they want to break from the heat.
Maybe that might.
I've been into that arena because
Really?
because I went in with my wife on our honeymoon down there. We went in and watched a Tampa Bay Storm, which is arena football, which is exciting to watch in person. But we went down there and not thinking about it. It was when the Lightning were in the Stanley Cup Finals, and it was cold in there. And, it was hot outside, and didn't think about bringing a jacket in because it's hot outside.
Right.
So it was cold inside.
Yeah, no kidding.
But, maybe that's why they like it. It gives them a break from the heat of Florida.
I'm not
Which
even.
doesn't really work for my argument in Canada. I want to break from the cold, so I'm going to go into a cold area. But, maybe it's warmer inside than outside. I don't know.
No kidding. I'm just saying, I know this probably sounds lame, but I just think of how hard those AC work. Like, you ever just think of that? Just how hard they work, how long they're on. They must have 6 ACs going constantly.
Well, and not only that, you got to keep the ice chilled.
Right. It's
we see the issue. We see the issue every now and then in certain NBA arenas that also host hockey. Right up in Boston in the TD Gardens, right? They have hockey there as well. So you'll see every now and then they have an issue with moisture coming up from the ice onto the floor, and then you kind of have to stop the game and get all the moisture off the floor. So it's interesting in and of itself that you can have an arena like that dual purpose, which also it says to me that when we're talking of hockey, right, that Seattle is about to get a hockey team.
Really?
Yeah, they were awarded an expansion franchise, I believe. I'm pretty sure of it. Wait.
Can we?
No, it might be they're like a finalist, but they went ahead and sold season tickets. People could get in basically really on the ground floor of it, and they sold out quick. And that shows to the NHL, hey, we won hockey here, and I think that might have led to them getting hockey, or that might have had it before that.
Real quick, did they have was it Seattle SuperSonics in the NBA? Is that it? Right. So
which is now the OKC Thunder.
Right. So what if we use that, right? And use Seattle SuperSonics as the hockey team name. Now, I don't know if that's copyright or nothing like that. I'm just saying as an idea. It'd be pretty cool because, people that are old school. I'm just saying.
Well,
it'd be cool.
the only reason you might not use Supersonics is because when the NBA does expand.
True.
And it's not if, it's when. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that is true.
Seattle's the first team getting a spot there.
I was going to say, Seattle doesn't have a team in the NBA, don't they?
No, they could, because that whole situation I think kind of got screwed up with them moving down to Oklahoma City.
Right.
But they are going to be the first ones right off the bat.
Oh, yeah.
And so then you have a bunch of other areas that are going to fight for the second team.
I mean, all
right?
they got is a football team, which love that team, by the way.
Well, they have baseball, by the way.
Well, yeah, that is true. What's
the Mariners?
Oh, is that it? Gotcha.
But, so obviously you're going to get a basketball team at some point again, and that's
Probably.
pretty much wide known knowledge within the NBA. Like, that's going to happen.
Oh,
so the next thought is, where's the second team there in the NBA go? Is it Mexico City, which the NBA has interest in going to?
Right.
Is it going to be Las Vegas? They have the Golden Knights now. They are within a couple years or so going to have the Las Vegas Raiders, which obviously now are the Oakland Raiders. And so, do you put a team there in Las Vegas, right? In the NBA franchise? Does it go to a city like Louisville, who has tried before to get what's now the Memphis Grizzlies, or do they go back up to Vancouver? Because there's also some interest in going back up to Vancouver. So you're talking, okay, Seattle, automatic, right? Then you have, let's see, Vancouver, Vegas, Mexico City, Louisville, maybe Nashville, or maybe, at some point Memphis moves to Nashville or something like that. But Kansas City, right. We'll throw that one in there because Kansas City is another apparently possible option. So you're talking 5 teams for one slot. Which one of those is going to be able to market themselves enough to get that extra NBA team?
Seattle would have to be the top one.
Well, it is. So when the league expands, they'll go in 2. Seattle gets 1. Then you have those 5 I named off, Las Vegas, Vancouver, and all that, vying for that last slot.
Probably Las Vegas, maybe, because, you think of endorsements and stuff like that.
Well, I lean towards Las Vegas. I don't think Mexico City is a true option.
No.
I think they want to expand the infrastructure there, and I don't think the players would possibly be happy having to go there. But honestly, kind of what you hear a little bit is it's almost a 3-horse race for that last spot, in that it's Louisville, Las Vegas, and Vancouver. The thing for Louisville is they are a smaller market there, but at the same time, with having the Louisville Cardinals there, and then down the road having the Kentucky Wildcats, like, there's a lot of passion for basketball. You go up a little bit, you have Indiana University, obviously. You have the Hoosiers up there. You can go up a little bit more, and then you have Butler. Like, where Louisville is, it would be kind of centrally located, to be able to have that team somewhat.
Yeah.
And you have, and I think from those, surrounding universities that are just a couple hours away or so, you could pool right when the visiting team's in town, and they might have a team. You think of all the Kentucky players that are in the NBA, right? And you would have Kentucky fans flocking there, and if they live in Lexington, it's an hour and a half drive. That's not much to go to a game. But the thing that might hurt Louisville is having the Pacers that would only be a couple hours away. Both are similar in size markets. Vancouver would be that second city once again in Canada, but at the same time, Vancouver's had a team before.
Okay, I just thought of a state real quick. And I heard everything you said, and I will probably take that into consideration. Right now, I don't have too much opinion on that, but I just thought of a state. Does Oregon have a team? I know they got NCAA, but
Portland.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
You need to work on your geography.
Either I suck at geography, or I didn't even think about Portland.
I really didn't. You probably didn't think of it, honestly, but
Portland's
you might also want to work on your geography.
Yeah, that explains the C-. Anyways, yeah, Portland, you got this totally.
But I do tend to agree with you. I think Vegas might honestly be the play, just for the fact, like, you've seen how well the Golden Knights have worked there. And you expect the Raiders to do just as well, and you have the NBA team. The only problem I would foresee in Vegas is maybe oversaturation of that market.
Yeah, no kidding. They're gonna like drown.
Well, because you see, that's the issue that the Rams had when they were in Las Vegas. That there was not a lot of fans were coming out to the games. It's so oversaturated in that market that you can't get that draw, and then they moved to St. Louis, and they're kind of kingpins there because they're one of two teams.
Well, I mean, Las Vegas really does drown in money. I mean, you got gambling, you got hotels, you got stadiums, you got arenas, everything you can really think of. All of it, one, costs a lot, and two, just, I mean, that's where rich people are. Rich people do live there.
Well, rich people do because they've made money off the gambling, right? I know. Yeah, but it's I don't know. It's one of those things. It's an interesting topic, and until the NBA really comes out and says, "Hey, we're looking to expand 2 teams," they haven't officially. But you hear, you read all the back channel talk that it's gonna happen, and it's more just when instead of if. But while we're hanging there in the NBA realm, let's hop back into last week, whatever it was, and the Warriors were able to finish off the Cavs 4-game sweep. You and I had talked about this. I talked about it a couple weeks ago when you were out. Even, to me, I had a feeling for some reason that it would go 7. I didn't know why I had that feeling, but it's almost like the whole series would have changed if Cleveland had won Game 1. It's almost it's almost like they after that they were like, ugh,
yeah, we're screwed now.
We had them at Game 1,
Yeah, I feel like they got let down. More of a mental issue, if I had to say. It kind of brought them down. After losing Game 1, they were like, okay, it's either Game 2 or we're screwed. Lose Game 2, and I wanted to say it was over. I did. But I had hope for LeBron, and my hopes got crushed. And to be honest, I'm glad they got sweep just because I was so done. I was ready for the finals to be done. I think I'm more interested, I wanted to be done for the reason of I wanted to see how this offseason was going to go. I wanted to see news reports. I wanted to see stats. I wanted to see this and that of LeBron, where he going, and I'm sure we'll get to that here soon. But
why wait?
Why wait?
Why
all
wait?
All right. Okay. Look, I asked you this yesterday, and let's just go straight into it. Where is the biggest possibility you think LeBron will go? Not facts, just in your own opinion. Where do you think LeBron will go?
To me, if you have seen Odd Sharks, right? They put out the odds for where to go.
Yeah.
And the Lakers are an even play right now in terms of betting. It did come out that LeBron James Jr. is going to go to, I forget the school's name, but some school there in Los Angeles this coming season.
Ooh.
I think it's some a prep school type thing. So after that, the odds came out that Lakers were an even draw. Cleveland, I think that's home for him, but the problem is there's too many issues with the owner, I believe, for maybe him to stay around.
The whole organization is just trash. I'm sorry,
but it starts at the top. I think if you could get a different owner, we probably wouldn't even have this discussion.
Oh, I would agree. I'm just saying, in my opinion, I think the whole organization is trash. I love that word. It's just straight garbage. Ty Lue, owner, the players, assistant coaches, all of it, it's awful. All of it. The whole organization.
But, to me, I lean towards the Lakers. But and this is the sad thing, is for me, for some reason, I can't get him just staying in Cleveland, him just be like, look, I'm just chilling here in Cleveland. Like,
No.
you know, but see, that's where he's from. And when he left Miami, he made comments to the effect of, these aren't obviously exact quotes, but they were some sort of paraphrasing here. Like, the only thing that could have got me away from Miami was Cleveland. Going back to Cleveland, I want to win championships in Cleveland. You know, and I want to retire as a Cavalier. But with having said that, he's also said that he wants to try and stick around till his son is in the league and be able to play with or against his son, which his son's like 13, maybe 14.
God.
So you're talking, what, another 6-7 years that he's going to have to play before his son. Now, obviously, depending on the one and done rule and all that, but before his son would be in the NBA. So, first off, can LeBron make it 6-7 more years? Like, that puts him at 21, 22 seasons.
Well, I mean, how old is he now? He's like, what, 30?
But 31?
What? Are you? Nah. Hold on. Nope. Got Google. Where you at? Hold on. How old? Old is LeBron James? 33.
Couple years off.
Okay, so you think? I mean, I almost said, when did Michael retire? Like, Michael was around like 40 something when he retired, right? I mean, he was about 39, 38 when he retired.
I think somewhere around there.
I'm not going to get in that whole situation. I was just using him as an example. Don't get your panties in a bunch. But,
I'm not. I'm just saying that.
Well, I was more talking about them. I know that whole conversation.
Oh, man, that thing is that.
It's
like,
annoying now.
It's a wildfire, and every time somebody brings it up, like, it's like somebody else throws more gasoline on the fire.
Anyways, if he can stay in there for 6-7 more years, props to him. I don't think he will. Really depends on how much, I guess, he really cares for his son and how much he really just either wants to embarrass him or play with him. Either one. But, okay, my opinion, without like going straight off track on the whole LeBron age, I want to say, and I hate saying this, the 76ers do have a big probability of having LeBron there. Now, I think he'll go to the Lakers. He put out a quote a couple of weeks ago, or it might even been a couple days ago. But he said the only thing that's really keeping him in Cleveland is family.
Well, and I know what you're talking about. It was, I want to say, sometime last week, and he said that the thing that would keep him, I guess, in Cleveland is his family not wanting to move or basically pleading to not move. But, you know, like, if you're going to send your son to a school in L.A.,
time to go to L.A.
You know, like, you've already got, like, multiple houses in L.A.
Okay, first off, real quick, Lakers fans have got to be going nuts right now. And if y'all listen right now, you might be in for a lucky treat. I'm just saying. I kind of want to see LeBron in the Lakers jersey, if I'm going to be straight up honest with you. But then again, I've never been a huge Laker guy. But I never get to play with the Lakers on NBA 2K, so LeBron, please go there. So, I want, like, me personally, I mean, you got Joel and Ben Simmons on the 76ers, even Markelle Fultz coming back next year. So, it is a huge possibility that he might be going there. I don't know how much money they got or whatever.
Well, the Lakers have enough to have one max salary player, but can, by, I think, refusing a few rights on some players here and there and letting some walk in free agency, they can sign 2 max free agents, which there is another one out there this summer.
Right. Now, speaking of LA, okay, I thought of this earlier while we were driving to your house. LeBron goes to L.A., imagine how much endorsement money he's going to get.
Well, and see, that's part of the
reason.
Well, and that's part of the reason people say he would go to L.A. You know, you have all the film studios there in L.A. Endorsements are bigger. That's a big market. What, the second biggest market in the entire U.S.?
Yeah.
Just behind New York. And he's not going to the Knicks.
LeBron to the Knicks, confirmed.
No. Kyrie to the Knicks in a couple years.
No, don't make me throw up.
No.
No. Be quiet.
Look, he's not even talking contract extensions with the Celtics.
Why not? Hold on.
Oh, you're an OKC fan.
Still, it was someone new. Okay? Eastern Conference Finals. I almost said Western.
Without him, though.
Exactly.
So why keep him and he can just go to the Knicks?
Go ahead, trade him. Get that money. Get some more people that you can trust, right? Because if the bench is better than Kyrie, then you're just a freaking embarrassment. That's how it goes.
Well, hey, first off, the bench better than Kyrie,
I know.
You best watch yourself there.
I know. I kind of stepped my boundaries there.
Yeah, you stepped over the line there.
Just a little bit.
You got a little too fired up. But the thing, going back to LeBron, does he want to go to the Western Conference, though, and possibly not make it to the finals? You know, he's wanting to win them championships.
Well, I mean, if he goes there, one, you got Golden State to face. You know, you're not going to have to face them in the finals. Two, there's nobody, and I repeat, nobody in the Eastern Conference Finals. Or not
Eastern Conference?
Wow. Oh, I suck at talking. Anyways, the Eastern Conference. Who is there? The Celtics? Maybe. Is that really going to be the new Cavs? Dude, I'd be surprised if he left and the Cavs go on to win some championship. Dude, that would blow my freaking
But see,
mind.
here's the thing. Is Dan Gilbert was we can win championships without LeBron. I'm like, did you see how your team was after he went to Miami?
Your
team sucked.
Yeah, no kidding.
Got the number 1 pick in the draft.
You're talking some Piston stuff, dude. You're
and you spent that number 1 pick in the draft on Anthony Bennett, who didn't really pan out.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then you got it again, and you got Andrew Wiggins, and you said bye-bye to him for Kevin Love.
And look how Kevin Love's got you. He ain't got nothing. Speaking of him, there are a couple trades up for him that I saw. Assumptions, by the way. They're not true. Just saying that.
Possibilities.
Thank you. Possibilities. Now, I don't know if you have them pulled up or not. I can try to pull them up real quick. Oh, here we go. Here I got them. You want me to say them, or you want to?
I mean, you don't have to read them.
Paper,
you don't have to read. We don't have to go through all the players,
yeah,
but the teams in general.
Okay, so the teams in general are L.A. Lakers, Los Angeles Lakers.
Wouldn't that? Hey, first off, hang on, stop there.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be funny if the Cavs trade Kevin Love to the Lakers and LeBron's at the Lakers?
Whoa.
Is he just following LeBron trying to get away from Kevin Love and be like, oh, really, you got him traded here? But at the same time, it's also, I think, important to note, these are kind of trades that might happen if LeBron leaves Cleveland.
Yeah, that's what they're basing it on.
Well, and that's what because I wouldn't blame Cleveland. You kind of start over. So you're basically trying to take Kevin Love and get assets for him.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue.
Okay. The next one we got is Portland Trailblazers, which this one interested me. I'm not going to, by the way, the Philadelphia 76ers
I was going to say, that was a
involved.
3-team trade, and the 76ers got, CJ McCollum in that one?
Yeah.
Which is
Sixers got
interesting.
CJ, and Portland Trailblazers get Kyle Korver and Kevin Love, which the problem is Cleveland doesn't really get great players from Portland. Now I could see, Damian Lillard going there, But then again, Damian's always been a Portland Blazer, I don't really want him going there, being a Damian fan. San Antonio Spurs, which it's just Kevin Love getting traded and nobody else. Then you got the Utah Jazz, which as a Donovan Mitchell fan, I would like to see him go there, but at the same time, I really don't. Like, does that make sense? Because
Well, I mean, what are the reasons for not wanting him to go there?
one, Donovan's got the spotlight right now. Him and Ricky and Joe. I don't know how you say his last name. Joe Ingles, is that how you say it? Ingles.
Don't forget about Rudy Gobert.
Well, even him. Like, they're a great team right now. They're doing well, so I don't really want someone like Kevin Love to come in and
I mean, the reason you would take Kevin Love into there is to help space the floor for a guy like Donovan Mitchell, right, so he can drive.
Right, that would be the only...
Which, to me, brings up a trade, and I don't think it was in that one, but it's in my mind here. A trade to OKC.
Ooh.
And I say that because OKC has another, obviously possible, highly likely free agent in Paul George.
Mm-hmm.
We know, obviously, that this past summer that Cleveland had a trade in place that would have sent Kevin Love, I think it was to Denver. And
Denver.
yeah, because they were in the trade with Denver, the Pacers, and Cleveland.
Dude, I'm just saying Denver Nuggets haven't been valuable since never.
and so they were valuable only when Carmelo was there.
Yeah,
that was young Melo, though.
Yeah, not kidding.
But if you take like Kevin Love and you send him down to OKC, and Cleveland gets Paul George and can keep LeBron, which would have been the issue if they could have pulled the trigger last year. But, then that becomes an interesting dynamic because I don't know if you saw Paul George's comments about enjoying playing with LeBron, like on the All-Star team this past, and he enjoys playing with him when they've played in the past together, which then makes me think again, Lakers. They have it for two. Paul George is from the L.A. area. LeBron obviously lives there. He's going to send his kid apparently to a school there.
Dude, no. Dude, this is some Illuminati stuff. PG enjoys playing with LeBron. I'm flipping out, dude. That's insane. Yo, okay.
I was saying the alerts just came up on our phones, yeah.
Alert just came up on our phone saying PG enjoys playing with LeBron and it has his comments. I like playing with James. It was fun playing with him All-Star Weekend. I'm done. I don't know what's worse, you and your mic breaking off or this right here. Okay, that's just creepy.
Mind you, though, my mic has been stable since I fixed it from the last time.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But
just keep going.
Well, because this is obviously, as some have coined it, and you and I will coin it ourselves, the Summer of LeBron. What's LeBron going to do? Obviously, this is kind of back to when it was Cleveland and Miami, and he went to Miami. The infamous decision. And so you have, a couple years after that he's technically a free agent, but everybody knows he's staying in Cleveland. And so the thing with Paul George is he can opt out of his contract and go to a place like L.A. Or if he can get the inclination that they're going to trade him to a place like Cleveland, LeBron's going to stay in Cleveland, he wants to play with LeBron, he would opt in to his contract with OKC and then be traded to Cleveland where he could end up signing because Cleveland couldn't sign him outright because they don't have enough money.
Right. I'm a fan of PG-13. I not either just because he's from my team, OKC, or Indiana, but more of I like his personality. I like him as a character.
He seems like a nice person, a chill person. Personally, I've watched him on the Animal Planet show Tanked, right? Yeah. Love that show. He was on there. He seemed really cool there.
He was also at the Pro AM.
The Pro AM for four. Well, that's I think where those comments came from because I saw them somewhere else and someone was asking about that Fortnite Pro Am.
Right. Well, I'd rather see Paul George and LeBron go to LA than Paul George go to Cleveland.
Now, I will agree with. I think that's probably the more likelihood.
Yes. That
they both go to LA. Then you have, Lonzo, Kyle Kuzma, LeBron,
By the way,
PG-13.
I love Lonzo, so I'd love to see Lonzo be able to have a chance at going after a title. Because, I mean, I can't stand his dad. Can't stand his two brothers.
Yeah, he's got two brothers.
Can't stand his two brothers, but I like Lonzo. I almost said Zonzo for some reason.
Well, probably because you were going for Zoe.
Yeah, because, Instagram and all that. But still, I like Lonzo. I'm hoping that he does well. Kyle Kuzma, I'm not a huge fan of, but he has great potential. LeBron and PG going there, I think, could really, really rile up the Western Conference. Or is it Eastern? God.
They're in the West.
I know. I don't know why. I really just need to go home and just think
and look at a map again, or
yeah, no kidding. Okay, look, I'm not that dumb, guys. I'm not. Look, I love history, you know that, but I suck at geography.
Speaking of geography, random thing I saw today that California is apparently going to take a vote to possibly try and break off into 3 different states.
Tupac would not be happy.
You would have North California, California, and South California, I think is how it was characterized.
That's so dumb. Tupac would not be happy. He'd be like, California, what happened?
But like the western part there, I think with LA and all that would be technically the new California. And then the northern part of California would be north and then south, right? Like, I agree it's dumb. But apparently they're going to take a vote, and if it passes, then it'll be submitted to
More
the...
stuff for me to learn about,
well,
right?
it'd be submitted to the federal government for approval and yada, yada, yada.
Whoever came up with that idea needs to get smacked.
Well, there's a lot of things happening, a lot of things legal there in California that someone probably thought of while they were on
sure.
the,
Yeah, sure.
But we'll leave that train alone there.
Yeah, no kidding.
But I am interested in the summer, and you and I have been talking about it on and off about LeBron this summer, where he goes, and I think that's going to be the more interesting thing to see who throughout, because if you talked a couple weeks ago, it was almost like the 76ers, that's the spot, right?
Yeah.
Then you have this whole thing with Brian Colangelo, which, by the way, who called it? That he would have to go.
I hate admitting you're right. I really do. Maybe that's everybody's thing. Like, whether your wife's right, your buddy's right, your brother's right, sister's right, mom's right, dad's right, either one. I hate admitting I'm wrong. But then again, I just gotta swallow my pride. Anyways, yes, you were right there, Betsy. You want round of applause?
Round of applause. Okay, maybe you need to stop this.
Applause.
Yeah.
Applause for the idiot. Right, for the guy that's
here. Let me golf
right
clap for you.
Oh, okay, thank you. Go ahead. I just want to say thank you, my family, the teacher that didn't help me, apparently because I didn't pass kindergarten. I just want to say thank you to my mom, who is greatest person ever. I don't know where I'm going with this speech, but LeBron, come help me. So. Yeah, I just thank you, everybody.
Great speech there.
Thank you so much.
Maybe we need to work on words before you come back.
Apparently. Look, I'm not this dumb. Oh, man. Look, I carry on conversations well. I mean, come on now. Come on now.
I know you carry on conversations.
I carry on conversations well. Apparently I don't know what the word applause is.
Oh, apparently.
Santa Claus, come help me. Why are you calling my name there, Sonny? Oh, man. All right, let's get back on the LeBron train here and get off the alphabet train, apparently.
The English train.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay. I think... See, another one I've been thinking of lately is Carmelo. Where's he going to go?
Who cares?
That's what I'm saying, though. I don't care.
Look, I don't think he's going to go anywhere because nobody wants his contract. The only way he's going somewhere is if OKC goes, here's some money, beat it. Like, they buy out part of his contract.
I was going to say, for all I care, go back to Denver. I just figured I'd bring that up just to see if you had something to say.
honestly, the place I think that Carmelo would probably seem like he would fit the best in an offense is in Houston, because of the way D'Antonio's offense flows. Which, by the way, I think Chris Paul is also going to be a free agent this year. Doesn't get a lot of talk because obviously LeBron is the free agent. Right. You know, that's like next year. Kawhi's the free agent. Klay Thompson's, I think, a free agent as well. You know, those two are going to be the big names. This year it's PG-13 and LeBron.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I'd rather see... people talked about LeBron going to Houston, and I think that was confirmed that it was not going to happen. Or, no, it was PG-13 that wasn't going to happen.
No, it was LeBron.
It was?
Yeah, because PG-13 they were going to possibly go after hard. But it was that Houston wasn't a viable option.
Right.
Meaning it was, but it's not really an option.
Right. I think I'm more excited for them to go to LA, and I want them to go to LA just because LA hasn't been, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for?
Relevant,
thank you. Relevant since
Shaq and Kobe.
I was going to say Shaq and Kobe. I mean, Kobe was the last.
Kobe!
Okay, it's my English. Now you're shouting things into the mic. Okay. Look, we need to get back on this roller coaster here. We're going up and then down, and then we start yelling Kobe as soon as we go down. Kobe! Okay, so Kobe, Kobe. The Lakers. Oh, my God. The Lakers haven't been good since Kobe. Even then, Lakers still sucked.
Well, yeah, Kobe right at the end, he was so injured and...
Well, I mean, he was old, you know. Either way, I would love to see... I mean, you already got two really great potential players there. You got Kyle Kuzma and Lonzo Ball. And even
Julius Randle's there as well.
Yeah,
but I think maybe they might have to do something with him money-wise.
I say trade him.
But the other person we're kind of leaving out when you're talking about free, DeMarcus Cousins is a free agent as well.
Oh yeah. Now, I will say, I hope he stays on the Pelicans.
But there's talk that the Pelicans may not offer him a max deal.
See, that's what I don't get. That's what I think is so stupid. Y'all did so well with him, and you're not going to offer him a contract, whether it's money or not. You're not even going to try? Really? Come on now. Come on.
Well, I mean, the other thought could be that, they did play really well with Mirotic in there. No, they're not the same player, but maybe the offense flows better without DeMarcus, and maybe DeMarcus is better off to go to a place like LA with a LeBron or a PG-13.
I mean, I see where you're coming from.
He's also coming off a serious injury, so...
Yeah, I don't, if you're not going to offer him a contract, at least make sure you can try to get him where he wants to go and get the trade that you want as well, so it's a win-win. I'm hoping he comes back just because I really want AD to do well, and I want the Pelicans to strive to be a better team because, I mean, they really had a chance last year. They really did. Whether Houston or the Warriors got in the way, they really did have a chance last year.
See, you and I had talked about it.
Or this year, sorry.
Right as DeMarcus went down, they were really clicking and putting it together. Personally, I believe they could have been a threat to a team like Golden State. Houston was a threat to Golden State. Houston had Golden State beat. And then Chris Paul goes down with a hamstring injury, and they can't finish the job. So, Golden State, although they're good, and yeah, they swept the Cavs, they're not as unstoppable as everybody believes they are. Which makes me think that, yeah, maybe LeBron goes to the West where it's a little tougher. But, if he can put the team together with him, with that young potential that's there, he can make it to the finals. Now, we haven't really talked about Philadelphia.
Trust the process.
And that's the problem I see in Philadelphia is if you have LeBron James there,
mm-hmm.
and you have Ben Simmons there.
Yeah, and Joel.
But see, here's the problem. LeBron and Ben Simmons pretty much play the same exact game, right?
Yeah. 2-2.
Because they're both kind of point forwards. Don't really shoot. Both don't shoot great, unless LeBron's going to try to lengthen his career and become just a jump shooter. I don't see that. They play similar styles.
You know that saying, opposites attract, right? Ben Simmons is not the opposite. It's not going to work well because they're just smashing the same play, and everybody's going to know how to work that same play. I don't think.
I hadn't really given it thought until you start thinking about who's on the teams and where it goes. So I honestly kind of think it's a 2-team race, and it's Lakers-Cavs. But I did find it interesting that Popovich made some kind of comments that actually I don't know if he made the comments so much as someone that it was just reported that he's going to try to force his way into getting a meeting with LeBron, which is interesting because you put LeBron with a coach like Popovich, and if you still have Kawhi and LaMarcus, it's a thought that you don't think of, that doesn't really cross your mind. I don't think it'll happen, but it's something that makes you think a little bit.
I totally agree with you. It does make you think. I like San Antonio, if I could speak right, for God's sake. I don't see LeBron going there. Kawhi's already there. In that whole Kawhi situation, I wish they'd just do something. For God's sake, you're getting on my nerves. Either come out with some. Speaking of Kawhi, Celtics tried to trade for him, and they denied it.
Yeah, before the trade deadline, I saw that. Yeah,
make up your dang mind. I'm getting annoyed by now. You either need to come out and say, look, he's staying with us, or you need to have a personal meeting with Kawhi and say, do you want out of here or not? Yes or no? If he says yes, figure out a trade and get him out of here, whether y'all want to keep him or not.
Well, and that's the thing, with the draft coming up, there's a lot of stuff you can do before the draft.
Exactly.
It comes out, as well, that the Patriots were shopping Gronkowski 3 days before the draft.
That's what I'm saying. You need to look at every value you can get out of it. Now, I hate saying you because that sounds selfish, but at the same time, you need to figure out a win-win situation for both of you.
Well, yeah, because if you're the Spurs organization, you realize Kawhi is not going to stay there. He's, a free agent next year, I think it is, or can opt out, whatever.
Yeah.
And you know that he's probably not going to stay there. Trade him while you can. You can get something out of him, right?
That's what people said about OKC, yet now Paul George is a free agent.
Well, that's what, people were talking about there with Sacramento, trading DeMarcus while they could still get value out of him. Because the problem is that the longer you wait with an impending free agent, the less you're going to receive for that person. If they try to trade Kawhi now, they might get a haul from, a team like the Celtics because they're not as desperate. It comes up, right before the trade deadline, and they're like, reports come out, Kawhi's not going to stay in San Antonio. People realize, hey, you're going to be desperate to get rid of him just to get something back. I'm going to give you a low ball offer here.
When that came out today, and my dad's a huge Celtics fan, I told him, and we had our conversation and all that, and I just think it was. I feel like they need to take more things into consideration. You see what I mean? Whether it's a trade, whether it's a possibility, you need to figure out each other's views so you can figure out how to combine those views to make it to where you can get that win-win situation.
Well, and for the Celtics thing, that's obviously before Jason Tatum hops on the center stage in the playoffs. He was doing really well, but you still weren't 100% sure that he would be a superstar, and so you could pass him off still on that potential factor. After the playoffs, you ain't getting rid of Jason Tatum now.
Mm-mm.
And so, this may never come back up, but apparently the Lakers and the 76ers have also reached out to the Spurs, but they are resistant to trade. And it's like, look, problem is you're going to wait too long.
Mm-hmm.
If you wait too long, you get nothing out of him if you know he's not going to stay.
When you also lose opportunities as well, opportunities that could benefit you, the coach, the team, and the whole organization. Granted, Kawhi's not in the greatest shape, whether he is or not. You're going to get something good. He's Kawhi Leonard. You're going to get something good out of him. He's not no LeBron James, but he's valuable to the team.
He's also not Darko Milicic.
No.
So, but we'll talk more about this, obviously, as more information comes out. When free agency also becomes closer, right around the 4th of July, somewhere in there. A lot more information will kind of surface. But real quick, as we're running a little bit long here than we normally do, get your thoughts here on 2 new rules that popped out today by the NCAA. One will take effect in October, might have been October 2019. I'll double check. But the first one is the redshirt rule for college football. So as of right now, you could redshirt a player before the season started, and he saves that year of eligibility because you have 4 years total of eligibility. Sometimes you can get a medical waiver for a 5th year. But it's kind of iffy, and sometimes someone gets hurt 2 games in, and you can't redshirt them. You've wasted that season for them. So with it today, it comes out that they're going to adjust it for this upcoming year, the 2018-2019 season, that you can play in 4 games and still have that year of eligibility. Do you, first off, have any thoughts with this?
Yes, it's we talked about this before we started recording, and we threw a couple thoughts in right before. But I think another thing that you set an example a couple minutes ago is if someone you think looks good right in, say, preseason, right before the season starts, you get into a game and they're just awful, or say, they're 3 games in and they're just awful, you're thinking, okay, whether he's a freshman, whatever it may be, I'll just redshirt him, get him better next year. So it can come into play to, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, to your privilege,
Advantage,
thank you. So I'm thinking it can really work out to
I think it works out.
Advantage.
I was going to say, I think it works out to all parties' advantage. Because, as a coach, you might have this freshman coming in who's a stud, right?
Yeah.
And he's been doing great in practice, but then you put him in the games, and he's not worth a plug nickel once you put him into games, because there's a huge difference between high school football and college football, just like there's a difference between college football and the NFL. We see some players make that jump immediately. Some take a year or 2. Same thing for kids coming out of high school. A lot of freshmen will redshirt somewhere along in that time and work on their body, get it more muscular, get it in better shape for college, get used to the playbook. But at the same time, there are issues with medical injuries. You get hurt in the 3rd game, as the system would set now, well, you've lost that whole entire year, right? Or it's, say somebody gets hurt in the 1st game and it looks like they might not make it back, but they might. you can go ahead and just slap that red shirt on and say, look, you're just going to sit out this whole year. We'll get you healthy, and we'll bring you back again next year.
Well, I look at this whole red shirt thing as more of a +1 life, right? One more year. So, like you said, if a guy coming out of high school wants to go in, he's looking at the stadium, looking at the players, looking at their plays. He's like, I'm not sure I'm too ready to play just yet. So what he does is he uses that that one Uno card, he uses it as one more free year just to get ready, look at the playbook, watch how they play, learn play by play, and then next year he'll be ready.
Well, and that's what they typically use it for, is that developmental year. There are athletes that are almost there, but they need just that one developmental year, and then they're a beast. In what's in their redshirt freshman year. But I think it just benefits all parties because, then some kids, if they get injured, they still save that year and all that. But then the other rule that will take effect this upcoming school year, the 2018-2019 school year, that the NCAA said today is that there will no longer be allowed, there will no longer be any restrictions on players transferring. Schools won't be allowed to put restrictions. So you and I were talking about this, and Kentucky has a rule that no SEC teams they could transfer to, or nobody on the next 2, I think it is, seasons upcoming schedule. So that you obviously can't develop some at Kentucky and go, hey, I'm going to go to Alabama now. See ya. But now with this, you can transfer wherever you want, and most teams, they would block specific schools, like their conference schools. But do you see this as opening up Pandora's box for kids to transfer in and out? Now, they didn't say that they wouldn't have to sit out a year, but now you can transfer to wherever you want.
I don't have much to say on this. I probably got one sentence or two, but I feel like it gives kids more opportunities. Say they go to Alabama, whether it's the football team, whatever it may be. Say they don't, whether they're not getting playing time. They're not getting playing time. They're not feeling comfortable. Say they go to LSU now. Now they're playing. Now they're getting comfortable with it. They know the coaches now. I just feel it gives kids more opportunities. Now, if you're cheating the system, that's kind of jacked up. Now you're just a douche.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's almost a double-edged sword here because, if a kid, is at a smaller school and is developed enough and, say, has 2 years of eligibility left, and he goes, you know what, I think I can play at Alabama, and he wants to transfer. Well, he sets out that year, and he's still got 2 years left, to play there at Alabama. So it's like, hey, and then you're on a bigger spotlight at Alabama, obviously.
Right. I think I like this rule only because it does give kids an opportunity. Now, I'm not trying to restate myself again, but I'm glad because it more changes the scene of perspective. Does that make sense? It changes the scenes for kids.
Well, it makes it more like what the coaches could do, because the coaches, if let's take 2 random schools, North Carolina and Duke, right? Rivals at that. Say Krzyzewski retires and Roy Williams gets offered the job at Duke. He can immediately take that job at Duke.
Yeah.
Right? But the students can't go from North Carolina to Duke. No. So, now, why he would do that, but you get my drift there, right? The coaches are free to go wherever they please, unless it's in their previous contract.
Right, I understand. I think it's a great idea. I'm hoping they implement it soon.
I'm hoping it works out the way they expect it to.
Yeah, I don't want anybody cheating the system. That's literally it. Of course, there's always a good and bad to every decision made. But I'm hoping that this works out for the greater good, sorry. And I'm hoping that, this may help kids in the future.
I agree with you there. Like, if it works out to a kid's benefit now, there have been exceptions, like a parent is ill or something and you can transfer back to a school that's closer, but those exceptions had to be made. In this, what I read is that all the schools would be required to put their players into like a data bank and say, hey, this kid's eligible for transfer. So, it's one of those things. It's like, I hope it does work out the way it should, and not restricting the student athletes. But, that's kind of all that's going on per se. Plus, as you may or may not be able to hear, my child is now getting fussy and wanting to eat. So, as we leave here, just as a reminder, if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for?
Yeah, no kidding.
Go over to iTunes, hit the subscribe button, or subscribe wherever you listen, whether it's Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, if it's on SoundCloud, YouTube, whatever. Make sure you hit that subscribe so you get these automatically each and every time they are uploaded. Also, while you're in the iTunes, to help us kind of with the iTunes charts there, go ahead and hit the 5 stars, leave a review, and help us out there. You can also hit us up and tell Rylee some English or send him some maps at Rylee_RD Sports. That's RYLEE_RD Sports. You can hit me up at Dish_RD Sports. DISH, pretty simple. _RD Sports. But with all that being said, Rylee, good talking to you. We'll do this again in a couple weeks with you. I'll do it next week by myself or may have someone joining me. But with all that being said, Rylee, another fun episode.
Definitely.
And that'll do it again for another episode of the R&D Sports Report.